It's Wednesday. You know what that means. Time for the Southern California Writers Association Hump Day Book Tour. I'm your host, Maddie Margarita, here with Diana Pardee on tech. Every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m., the SCWA turns our Facebook page over to a new and different writer to talk about their work. This morning, we are pleased to have with us Mark Sevi. Mark is a professional scriptwriter who also teaches script writing. He has written 19 movies made as a writer, 16 as a producer, and sold over 33 scripts. His script writing classes have run continuously for over 20 years, and he has lectured on script writing at colleges and writing events all over the country. Mark's articles on script writing have been featured in Creative Screenwriting Magazine, Final Draft Edu, Salon, Writer's Digest, and Now Write book series, and dozens of other periodicals. He's the founder of the Orange Country Screenwriters Association, and his new book, Quantum Scriptwriting, is now available. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. Who the hell sent you that long ass bio? My God, what are they thinking?
Well, I think we covered everything almost, Mark.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Although,
thank you for.
I wanted to list the names of all your movies, but I thought that might take up the entire 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're this good, what can you do?
Exactly.
It's good to see you, and Diana, thank you very much for having me here. I love SCWA. I think you guys are fantastic. I have a lot of friends out there in SCWA land, so thank you.
Well, that's true on all accounts, especially the friend part. But so this is a little diversion from our normal author slot here, because the book that you wrote was actually on writing, specifically screenwriting. So, but I think that people in general like to understand what they're reading, what goes into what's behind the scenes to what they're reading or what they're seeing on the screen. And a lot of the skills are transferable between the two. So let's just talk a little bit about why you wrote this book and how long did I heard a rumor that it took you a while to write this book.
It did, yeah. This is the 5th iteration of this book. I meant to look it up and I forgot. But this is kind of a legacy book for me. I also, one of the things, not for nothing, I've read every book in the business. I've been doing it for so long. Most of these so-called gurus don't have the kind of writing experience I do, and they don't teach. So basically they're observers of movies. They come up with some good, interesting things that, well, if you notice that they don't tell you, they tell you the what, they don't tell you the why. And so, so my book from a screenwriting, from a story perspective, tells you the why. Why does something happen at this tempo? Why does something happen here? When I'm teaching, I teach 2 classes a week, and I have for 20 some years. And I'm trying to get my students to understand that they're not, when they see something that works, why? Why does it work? Why does how does it function? What's the magic? What's the secret? And that's hard to do. It's hard to not only understand, but it's hard to put into a book. And so these 5 iterations, if I had published this when I started it, it would be a completely different book. But now I feel like I've got all my ducks in a row. I'm happy with, so happy with this book. And it's $9.95 because of the way Amazon's set up. But I think it's worth the money, and I'll have a print version out pretty soon. But it's a story. It's a book on stories. How do you tell a story? Why do you tell a story? What happens in a story to a character? Why does a character change? What's the theme? How do we talk to our audiences? What makes us the shaman of the tribe these days? We are the modern day equivalent of the shaman of the tribes. And so whether you're writing a novel, a short story, an article, I write a lot of articles for Creative Screenwriting Magazine and Final Draft. I'm telling a story. I'm trying to convince the audience. When I do seminars, I say, what's the #1 job that a writer has to do? And, we get all the normal answers, which are great. Absolutely. Tell a story and engage the audience in that. But it's manipulation. You're manipulating your audience to follow your perspective, your point of view. That's whether you're a novelist, short story writer, whether you're trying to write an elegy for a person, it doesn't matter. You're telling a story. My book is called quantum screenwriting. It's about the idea that in a script, something is entangled to something else in the script. So the idea of the entanglement, quantum entanglement, it's a high, minded physics concept, but it means that something that you do over here on this side of the paradigm also has a kind of a mirror effect on this side of the paradigm. So I'm connecting these events in the script in a really simple and easy to understand fashion, but anybody who's writing could probably use the techniques in this book.
Well, it's funny, and one of my teachers, I think I heard say in the course of another course that you taught, anyway, said something about people understanding story, and I think people who are on the reading or viewing side have expectations that they don't know that they have. That you were talking about being a shaman. We've all heard stories, seen stories growing up. We know what to expect. We know
Absolutely.
what makes a good story, but we can't tell you what's missing. We've all seen bad stories or read books that weren't as entertaining as others, but we can't tell you what's missing. But I think that's really back into the magical part of this, where from all aspects, writers have to be less magical and more technical about making things happen, especially if you're going to be repeated and be repetitive in terms of telling one good story after another.
Right.
So what is it in your book that there are books out there about screenwriting? From your perspective, what is it about quantum scriptwriting that makes it different?
Well, first of all, I think my book is revolutionary. So it's been out for about a month. I'm not promoting it at all. I'm not doing any promotion because I'm waiting to hear where some of the issues are, if there are any. Thankfully, knock on wood, there aren't. Everybody who's read the book has raved about it so far, and I'm thrilled that what I'm getting across. One of my students who read it said, I've never heard anything like this before. This is amazing, and it's so easy to understand. So here's the thing, Maddie, they say the old Malcolm Gladwell saw is 10,000 hours equals an expert, right? I probably got double that in this business. And I've done it from every aspect you can imagine. I've done it as a writer, as a producer, as a teacher, as a student, and I'm still learning. So what I'm doing here is passing on what I think is a revolutionary method of writing anything, but certainly writing a script. So the other thing that makes it different, in my opinion, again, there's a lot of great story people out there, but they don't have any, they have never put their butts in a chair and wrote a script. Or if they've done it, they've only done it once or twice. I mean, I've sweated here on deadline, writing 2 or 3 scripts at a time. It's just, and I don't ever stop, stay curious, right? Isn't that your motto too?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. That's the key. Not only is that an anti-aging, method, but it just, I've never stopped. I read everything. I read the back of a cereal box. I read, everything. I read 2 or 3 news reads and stuff. I'm so still invested in the world. And I hopefully that curiosity gets into my book, that sense of passion that I have for this and for the world. So you guys may, you guys are novelists. Some of your novelist people have taken my class, and I think every novelist would benefit from a script writing class because it teaches you how to focus, as opposed to, let's say a book has 500 pages. We're only allowed in script writing to write about 100 of those pages, and it's half the words because of the way the format is set up in script writing. So you take my class, and I'm going to teach you how to be concise, still be as beautifully languaged as you are, but I'm going to teach you how to get to the point. I'm going to teach you how to tell a story from a sense of a screenwriter who has only a certain amount of pages to go. And by the way, my material class starts tomorrow. You can go to scriptwritingclasses.org and sign up. And I need students. So anybody who signs up, will have a great semester, but it's an 8-week course that takes you from, I don't know anything about script writing to I'm writing my script. And if at the end of that 8 weeks, you don't like it, fine, that's fine. Go away. Goodbye. Have a great life. But if you like it, it may end up opening a whole new world for you. What's that song? A whole new? No, I'm not going to sing.
See, who knew that we got the serenade this morning? Well, you know what? I think it's I can't tell you how many people who have said to me, I have a story, I want to write a book. And after I stop laughing, then I tell them, yeah, no, you don't. But I
Yes.
think that there are people who have great stories and would love to go in and see how, you don't just sit down and write the first sentence, like it started 20 years ago. And then you're like, oh my God, how do I organize my ideas?
Where next, right?
Right. How do I do that? So I think that that's an important thing for a writer who's going to take somebody along on a journey with them. So
Yeah.
so I'm curious. You wrote this book, so you went through the pain of every writer, which is what you just said. Even though it didn't have a narrative or a story arc, it probably did. How did you decide to organize the information and deliver the information the way that you did? How did you structure this book?
Well, so Scrivener and Juto saved my life because I tried to write it in Word. I'm a WordPerfect fan. I tried to write it in WordPerfect. Then I went to Word. Then I found Scrivener, and then I found Juto. Juto is similar to Scrivener, maybe not as well organized, but when I'm writing this book is different. When you guys write a novel, or when I write a novel, it's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. This one is chapter 1, subchapter this, section this, and everything has to be hyperlinked to another section. It's really was maniacal. So I approached it. I sat down several times and reorganized it. I actually didn't have a section on Act 1 at one point. I thought, okay, because the book was going to be called Cracking Act 2. And because that's the hardest thing to any screenwriter.
The saggy middle, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, it's horrifying. I call it the beast that ate your work. But so I ended up putting the section on Act 1 after Act 2, and my first beta readers read it and said, this is too weird. I don't understand why Act 1 comes after Act 2, even though I preambled it and I said, okay, if you need Act 1, hyperlink, go here, and all. They couldn't wrap their minds around it. So I ended up redoing it with Act 1. But every time I did, I reorganized it a little bit different. And I'll tell you honestly, is I picked up a couple other people's script writing books, not for the information, but the organization. And I looked at the way they organize things, and I said, that works for me. I like this. This makes sense. So I'm a web designer too. So there's a certain logic to that. There's a certain process that goes on. And so I think I benefited from that too. But it's a process just like everybody else's. I can't even tell you what draft this is. Maybe 20, 30, 40. I have no idea. I got lost in this book, and I've been lost in this book. I was so relieved when January 10th came and it dropped. I said, now I can die. As long as I know that book is out there, I can die happy. My opus grandis, yes, my manifesto, absolutely.
I'm excited to get into it and dive into it. I've always enjoyed your writing and your teaching.
Thank you.
So, and I think people out there could benefit. So, if people are interested now in picking up the digital version, where can they get that?
It's only on Amazon right now. So just use my name, Mark Sevi, or Script. It's got. Can I share my screen and show you the title?
I don't think we're set up to do that. But,
okay. Well, anyway, it's got two cats on it, which is a kind of a nod to Schrodinger's cats. There's a black cat and a white cat standing behind it. They're kind of juxtaposed. And then it's called quantum script writing. And right now, I've sold about 100 of them so far, so it's not bad. But I'm going to do a book release and all that stuff when I get the print version ready. Unfortunately, the print version, I'm doing all this myself. I'm not hiring anybody. I didn't, pay anything for any of this except for the programs. So the print version is much, much different than the e-version, because even the table of contents is different. So that'll be hopefully by the end of this month, I'll have a print version out, print on demand, POD, with Amazon. But right now it's only Amazon.
Okay, great. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Mark. Best of luck.
Thank you.
And we're going to put the link to your class, your upcoming class, the link to the Amazon digital version of your book in the chat and in the comment section below. And we wish you lots of luck. And I personally recommend anything that Mark writes. So I hope you all take advantage of that.
Thank you.
So we'll hopefully see you soon, Mark, and everybody else. We will hopefully see you next week on the Southern California Writers Association Hump Day Book Tour.
Thank you.
Have a good week.